chapter 8, verse number 1 onwards, we read about a large crowd followed Jesus for 3 days. All are hungry and there was nothing to eat. Jesus asks his disciples, "How many loaves do you have?" In verse number 5 and verse number 6, they said 7 loaves. Loaves means a flat bread as big as a plate. It is something like this, a flat bread as big as a plate. Now I want you to understand, 3 or more days are over and they have left their house 3 days back and prepared this bread 3 days ago. The bread has become old. This bread has lost its flavor. It has lost its softness. It has lost its taste. And it is most undesired. It looks spoiled, and I can see a little fungus on the bread. It is stale. But Jesus says, "You give that bread into my hands." I want to tell you today that this bread looks spoiled in your eyes and my eyes. But in the eyes of Jesus, it is a miracle bread. Amen. It is a miracle bread. As disciples are seeing it as spoiled, old, stale, tasteless, useless, gone case, unclean, Jesus sees it as a miracle bread and has a purpose for this bread. My dear friends, even today you may be sitting here and listening to this message and you feel like this bread, so old, so stale, so tasteless, so useless, and you feel that you are good for nothing. You feel your life is spoiled. I've come to tell you that Jesus says, "Give it into my hands. I will make you a miracle bread." You see your life as spoiled, but Jesus sees your life as a miracle. He has a plan for you. He has a purpose for you. If you feel your life is like this bread, so stale and spoiled, Jesus stands here and says, "Give your life into my hands, because once you come into my hands, I will make you a miracle." Amen. People thought it's all over. 7 loaves of old, spoiled bread. And they see it as a old, stale bread, but Jesus sees it as a miracle bread. Not only that, in the eyes of people, it is spoiled. It is spoiled and gone case. But in the eyes of Jesus, I want to tell you, it is precious. Isaiah 43 verse number 4, "You are precious in my sight, and you are honorable, more loved than anything else." So however spoiled you are, however bad you are, however old you are, Jesus says, "You are precious in my sight." Maybe I was comparing this to a 500 rupee note. This 500 rupee note, it's precious. Now supposing this note is being crushed, and you crush it and put it in mud and you stamp it. I don't like to stamp a note, but supposing it is trampled and it is fallen on the ground, I'm sure all of you would want it. Why? Because though it is crushed, though it is old, though it is full of dirt, it has a value, and that is 500 rupees. I want to tell you, likewise, you also may be crushed. You also may be spoiled. You also may be feeling soiled and dirty. You feel unworthy. But I want to tell you that you are very precious and valuable in the eyes of God. And that is why Jesus takes up the bread in his hand and he makes it a miracle bread. Listen carefully. In verse number 6, it says, Jesus took the bread in his hands. Just imagine a dirty, spoiled bread. Holy hands of Jesus took it up. That is why the world and all the gurus tell us, become clean and come. First, become clean and come to me. But Jesus says, just come into my hands as you are, and I will make you as white as snow. Today, if you are feeling stale, my dear sister, today, if you're feeling that your life is spoiled like this bread, old and dirty, Jesus says, give your life into my hands, and I will wash you and make you as precious and white as snow. Jesus is waiting today for you, and he says, give your life into my hands. You might have wrecked up your life. You might have spoiled your life. You might have taken drugs and alcohol. You might have gone to all the worldly ways. Your life may be destroyed. Maybe you have no hope for the future. But I want to tell you, Jesus is waiting here with open hands and says, give that stale, give that spoiled bread into my hands, because I want to do a miracle with your life.